Welcome to another video blog. Thanks for wishing me well after the blog that I sent out yesterday. I feel a little better today, so uh, thought I'd shave and get back to my normal self. So I wanted to talk this week. The theme of this week is going to be about neuroscience, and so a few fancy words: neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, mirror neurons. I want to talk about those things, but more importantly, I want to talk about what these scientific terms are pointing to and how you can utilize this knowledge to your own benefit. How you can take what neuroscience has learned about the brain and use it to your benefit for spiritual awakening. I know that sounds perhaps rather odd, but there really is a lot to be learned from science these days that can empower us in the awakening process to do certain things, go about the process a little differently, to empower us to really get into the nitty gritty of it because there's a reason to, because there's a point and there's a purpose and there's a methodology. Yes, and this is true even in this paradoxical letting go work that we do in spiritual awakening. That we can look at neuroscience and say, aha. So, what are my qualifications to do this? I'm no neuroscientist, obviously. Um, Two things. Well, first of all, my own experience with the process of the brain and awakening has been pretty poignant. I think before neuroscience was popular, I was a pretty well studied and well convinced that a lot of this stuff that was happening in awakening was actually happening in the brain, and I could feel it in my own process. I could feel that, wow, there's something happening between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of my brain, and it's not all about the metaphysical lovey-dovey heart. In fact, the brain is plays a very major role, and I sensed this early on in my own process, and consequently did quite a bit of book research, etc. So then, when my own awakening unfolded, and as the years went by, I became familiar with mindfulness-based stress reduction, and I've taken some courses and have familiarized myself with everything that they're teaching relative to the brain and neuroscience. Here in Charlottesville, there's a great mindfulness center at University of Virginia, and one of the great courses I took, which it's been about a year and a half now, it was called Mindfulness in the Brain, and it was just fantastic. It really was. It was a really eye-opening exploration of the neuroscience of mindfulness, and mindfulness in um, in the work that we do here in spiritual awakening is really one half of the process. You might know it as self-inquiry, you might know it as centering, or just being aware of awareness. But mindfulness is super important in the process, and consequently, there's a whole science. There's a whole data bank of information about how to make it more effective. So I wanted to talk about this um, in this video blog briefly, just to let you know that this is the topic of the week, because this Thursday night I'm going to have a free webinar where I'm going to go in depth about these things, and again, more importantly, I want to demonstrate to you how these mirror neurons work. What is the How does the process of specifically this resonance, this energetic resonance or transference or satsang work relative to mirror neurons? And what you can do, the one key ingredient that you can do to facilitate that process in your own path and in your own evolution. Because make no doubt about it, there is one key ingredient in this awakening process that really is the grease in the wheels. It's the fuel for the fire. And without that key ingredient, the awakening process is going to be forever hidden, forever stymied, and not empowered the way that it could be. So am I going to tell you right now? Nah, I don't think I will. I want you to come to the webinar. I do. I can, in these little videos, there's a limitation. So this webinar is going to be this Thursday at 7 o'clock. I don't know how long it's going to go, maybe an hour or two. But set aside a good 2 hours. Usually, most of my webinars are 2 hours. So that's this Thursday. It's free. If you're on my list, I'm just going to send you a link that day. Then you can just go and sit in. And this will give you a really good taste of how I explain things and how I teach and how I really get students to, most importantly, to drop into the moment and to resonate with the moment and to resonate with your own interior wisdom, truth, love, etc. To really find the neuroscience of love. At the end of the day, that's that love word is indeed important. I'm willing to use it. Mr. Blue Collar Guy is next to the word neuroscience. I'm not normally lovey-dovey, and I don't use that word. But yes, consciousness, awareness, love, God, it's all the same thing. And it's a beautiful thing that's happening in our world today, is that neuroscience is pointing to it. Neuroscience is helping human beings to discover this amazing truth. So please join me this Thursday, which I believe is the 28th. This Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have a free webinar. I'll send you more emails about that this week. And I hope to see you there, and I really look forward to being with you in that moment. Okay? Till then, thanks. Bye-bye.